series. And the next part will be held on February 18th. So that's next Thursday. And part four will be held the Thursday after that, and so on. This training series is presented by the New York SBDC at York College in collaboration with the York College Business and Economics Department. New York State has partnered for a first in the nation program with leading global e-commerce partners such as Shopify to accelerate New York State-based small businesses' ability to grow their online presence. SBDC and the Empire State Digital will provide hands-on assistance, training, and counseling to small businesses to launch and grow their digital presence. My name is Brian Young, and I am a business advisor with the York College SBDC. Today, you will hear from our presenter about getting started with e-commerce on Shopify, part 2. If you have any question, type it into the question pane on your control panel. I'm hoping that you will come away from this webinar ready to get started and to build an e-commerce store from scratch. Just a gentle reminder, after this training, you will receive a follow-up email with instructions on how to sign up as an SBDC client so that one of our colleagues can be assigned to help you with step-by-step in starting your online store. So check your email inbox for this follow-up email. Our presenter tonight is Toni Coleman Brown. Ms. Brown has an in-depth expertise and impressive track record of working with Queens business owners. Ms. Brown also has a lot of experience in training and capacity building for minority and women-owned businesses. So that's my part. Toni will take it away.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Greetings and hello, everyone, and welcome back to part 2 of our Shopify webinar, getting started with e-commerce and Shopify. I'm excited about the presentation tonight. I also want to acknowledge our young students on the line, Ms. Hines and Mr. Dill. We appreciate having you guys here. So last week, we actually covered why Shopify. We also talked about how to set up your store. We went over the basics. We showed you how to pick a theme that could work for your business, and we showed you all of the different themes that are available. We also showed you how to add a product, and we showed you how to optimize images with Canva. Now tonight, we actually are going to cover optimizing your store, adding a blog to your store, and why this is important. We're going to cover a little bit of drop shipping, not a lot, but just a little bit of drop shipping. I'm going to just pull some people in that just joined us. Give me a minute for that. And we're also going to talk about what Shopify apps you should add to your store and why. Nice. And we're also going to talk about the grand opening, because that is a big deal. And, you know, we want to make sure everybody that's here tonight can hear. So we want you to mute out your lines if you can. I'll mute out some people while I can. And Brian, since you're also a host, you might be able to see some of the participants that are coming into the room. And so if you can add them to the room, that would be great. So we're also going to talk about, like I said, your grand opening, getting traffic to your store, and some general store operations and best practices. Okay, we have about an hour and a half, so we're going to just jump right in. So I am actually going to log in to my store, but I want you guys to know that this is what it looks like currently right now. But we're going to go into a live demonstration so you can see all of these great things that I've added to my store. Okay, so just if you could give me a minute and I will get there. And hopefully you guys will be able to see everything. All right. So can you see the store right now, everybody? Yes?
Yes.
No. Yes. Yeah. I guess
Yeah,
that's.
you can see
Yes.
it. Yes.
Yes.
Awesome. Awesome. I'm just moving around the menu bar so I can see everything. So this is a preview of the store, and last week there was like really nothing much here. I showed you guys how you can add a hello bar. I also added this image there, and I put a headline here saying that it's just the Network for Women in Business store. We have merchandise, office items, live events, business tools, and more. I also added some logo items. I didn't put all of the details here because I want to go over some of that with you. And then I also added some items from drop shipping. And I didn't clean any of this stuff up. I just kind of added it, and we're going to talk about that. And I added an event, right? I did not put any testimonies, but I did add some pictures to the gallery. And I also added some apps which will allow you to show and see recommended items here. So these are some of the things that I added to my Shopify store. So let's go right into the platform so you can see what I've done. So when you first log into your Shopify store, you're going to come to the home page, and on the home page, you're going to actually see what's set up here. You're going to get some messages, and you're going to see how things are actually moving along nicely, which is what Shopify is telling me. And then it also gives you what you can do next. Right? So it also will tell you like, okay, yes, you've added a product, check. You've customized your theme, check. Now it's saying one of the next things that I can do is add a domain. Now I could purchase a domain directly from Shopify, or what I can do is I can add or transfer a domain that I already have. So if you notice, if you click on this button right here, it'll say buy a new domain, transfer a domain, or connect an existing domain. So now let me tell you guys what that means. If you have a domain that you've already purchased with like a Bluehost or a GoDaddy or something like that, you can transfer it over to Shopify. Because what you're gonna notice is that, see up here at the top where it says Network for Women in Business.myshopify.com, that's my URL. But if I don't want it to say .myshopify.com, if I want it to look a little bit more professional, I can purchase a URL, and then this link will no longer say Network for Women in Business.myshopify.com, but it will just say probably Network for Women in Business.com. So I think that's a little bit more professional, and that's something that you would want to do with your store. Right now, remember last week we talked about the navigation bar over here, the left navigation bar. This is where you get to the home page. If you have any orders, this is where they will be. If you have any abandoned checkouts, they'll be over here. And then we have the products. And last week I showed you how to add one product to your store. Now, what I've done is I've done something that's called drop shipping. And I'm gonna, tell you a little bit more about what that is about. Basically, for my logo items, Educate to Elevate is a method that I use to generate leads. It's a unique method that I created that I use to generate leads, and it goes along with a program that I offer. So I have these t-shirts that say Educate to Elevate. Educate to Elevate is also the motto for the Network for Women in Business. I say that we educate to elevate women in business. So I decided to put that hashtag on a mug, and I decided to put it on a t-shirt. Now, how I did this was I went over to Canva and I created the cover and I downloaded it, and I went over to an app called Printful and I added it to a t-shirt that they have on Printful, and Printful allowed me to move that item directly to my Shopify store. Now, that is a method of drop shipping. And now let me show you exactly how that works. Because what drop shipping means is that for a lot of people that sell items, a lot of times their homes end up looking like a warehouse because they have stuff all over the place that they have to ship. Well, you can ship items directly from a supplier directly to your customer. And with drop shipping, you will buy an item at cost. You will add your profit and shipping to the item. You'll put it in your store. And when somebody buys the item, you will fulfill the item directly from the supplier, not from your house, not from a warehouse where you're keeping a lot of stuff. You'll fulfill it from the supplier, and the supplier will ship it directly to your customers. That's what drop shipping is all about. Now, with drop shipping, a lot of people will connect their Shopify stores directly with stores and suppliers all over the world. A lot from China, but from all over the world, you can find suppliers. But the key is finding a supplier and finding items that you absolutely love, and then connecting it with your Shopify store. Now, let me show you how this works. So I have some products here that I got from an app, because remember we talked about apps, and we're going to go over some of the top and best apps that you can add to your store. As you can see, since the last time, I've added quite a few apps to my store. Now, this app, Orbelo, is an app that truly supports drop shipping. So if you click on the About button, you'll find out all about this app. And Orbelo is basically an app where you can find items that you can sell on Shopify. Now, once you find items on Orbelo, you can connect it directly to your store, and then you just have to update the description and all of that stuff. And that's really important, right? So that's one of the apps that I connected to my store in order for me to add all of these different products that you see. Now I'm going to look at one, right? This one here, which is a folding laptop table. Now, you see, when you get these items from the App Store, it'll directly import all of this information into your store. Now, some of the things that you may like and may not like is the name. The title is like usually super duper long and super duper descriptive. And in my opinion, this is just not how people search for a laptop folding table that they can, put in their bed. So one of the first things you want to do with your items that you have in your store, whether you are putting items that you currently have housed in your home or housed in storage somewhere, you want to make sure that you include descriptions that are definitely searchable. And why that's important is because you want to optimize your stores. And here's what I mean by this when I say optimize your stores. When I say optimize it, I mean optimizing it for the search engines, right? So when people go to google.com and they search, they don't, type in things that are long and dimensions and all of that stuff. They search how they speak. So when it comes down to optimizing your store, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to make sure that you have all of the information in the title and in the description in a way that's searchable. Now I scrolled all the way down to the bottom so that you can see exactly what your items will look like in the search engine. Now, all the way at the bottom of every product page, you have this thing called Edit Website SEO. And you want to make sure for each and every one of your products and your items that you have edited this portion of your website. Because look at what it looks like right now. I mean, this information is just, to me, it looks like a garbled bunch of googly goop. So I would come down here and I definitely would edit this information. And I would change this title so that it could say something more like, a portable, and, it's black. So I would say black portable laptop table. And I'll maybe say that folds. And then down here, I would say, are you the type of person who works on their laptop in bed? Well, this lightweight black portable laptop table is exactly what you need, right? So you want to make sure that you're saying something that makes sense. And then down here, you can change the URL. And I would change the last part of the URL to say something like black portable laptop table, right? Because I don't want it to say anything that's like super duper ridiculous and really doesn't make sense. And it's not the way people search for stuff, right? So there's a lot of stuff here. And then what I would come down here and do is click on save. But most importantly, you want to change the information, not just down here in the bottom, but you also want to change the information up here in the top. So one of the most important things that you're going to want to do when you have your Shopify store is you're going to want to make sure that all of your titles and all of your descriptions, portable, black portable laptop table, and I might even say folding table, something like that. And then this information here, you definitely are going to want to change it, and you're going to want to put as much information in this description as possible that really describes what the item is, really tells you what it's good for. And you want to think about in your description all of the things that a person might think in their mind when they go to search for a portable black laptop folding table. And if you sell items like this in your store, one of the best places that you can go to get a clue with regards to what you should include in this information is Amazon. Because Amazon has really great descriptions about, their items, and, they also include important details that you're going to want to use. So Amazon will give you a great clue with regards to what you're going to want to put here in your product description, right? And then when you scroll down here, like this picture really came from the website, but you want to make sure that you find a picture that really doesn't have all of this information. I mean, you might want to keep something like this in the description, but you may not want it to be the main picture with all of this additional information. But this word here, adjustable laptop stand, that's something that you might want to also include in here, because that's how people search, right? They might want to say, yeah, I'm looking for an adjustable laptop stand. And instead of calling it a black portable laptop folding table, you might want to call it an adjustable laptop stand. Now, what's cool about these two things is that you can include both. You can include that in the title, and you can also include it here in the description. But in the description, you want to play around with it. And then down here, you want to put in your price. You can price it, and pricing is something that's going to be really important when it comes down to your stores, because you're going to want to figure out what is your profit going to be. So pricing and shipping are going to be two areas where you're going to want to pay a lot of attention. And then one of the things that you can do is you can also put in a price that you can compare it to. So if other places are charging $50 for this, you can put, a compare price in here so that you can compare the $50 to the price that you're charging, okay? And so all of this other information is great information that you're going to want to use so that you can understand, like, what is your cost for each item. Your customers won't see it, but you'll get the opportunity to see exactly what your margins are and what your profit is. And you're going to want to definitely know that. So here is telling you where the inventory is being managed. Remember, I showed you I'm using an app, and the app is Orblo. And it tells you what the SKU number is here, and then you can track quantities. It also lets you know that there's 119 available with Orblo. And so as you are selling this item, you're going to want to make sure that you're checking the availability so that you know that you can keep it in your store, right? And this is a physical product. You can put the weight, and basically you're going to put all of that information in, and it's going to be totally unique to whatever it is that you're selling. So if you have product that you have in your, your house or your warehouse that you're going to be selling in your store, then all of that information is going to be unique to your particular item, okay? So when it comes down to optimization, this is really important, okay? And this is how you're going to upload your products into your store. So you press save. And remember, like I said before, one of the things that you always want to do is you want to always make sure that you are pressing save. All right, so let's look at some of the other apps that I've put here. So I've connected this to Facebook. And why is this important? Because you can actually have your items go directly to Facebook, and you can connect your store to your Shopify store, and you can have your products funnel on Facebook. Have you ever seen on people's Facebook page, there's this section where they're selling stuff? And, a lot of times these items are coming directly from Shopify, but we're going to learn more about that when I click over here and show you different sales channels. All right. So Facebook is one of the apps. Orblo is an app that you want to use if you're interested in drop shipping. Now, I could spend probably, I don't know, a couple of days training on drop shipping. That's a whole monster and a beast all on its own. But what I can say to you is that there are a lot of companies that will ship directly to your customer. And you can find drop shippers both inside of the states and outside of the states. But when you find drop shippers that are outside of the states, there's a whole lot of other issues that come with that. Now, if you know there are a few items that you specifically want to source, and you want to source it from out of the country, there are a lot of different websites that will help you to find items in bulk at a low price that you can order, and it may take a month for it to get here, but at least you'll have the product on hand and you can fulfill orders on hand. And I can tell you guys, that's exactly what my daughter did with her Shopify store. She started out with Wix and she moved it over to Shopify. She found a supplier of lashes and she purchased a whole bunch of different sizes of lashes. She found a supplier to source her boxes. So she ordered all her boxes. So her room has turned into a warehouse. And so that's where they fulfill orders from their bedroom, basically, her and her business partner. And they have the items on hand and they sell them through Shopify. So if you could, I mean, you know, I'm going to have to show you guys their store because where they were before to where they are now is amazing. And so Printful is another app that I downloaded. And, you know, if you guys want to do logo items, Printful is another one that's really great. And basically with Printful, what happens is I can, you know, kind of open up the app so you can see a little bit of what it looks like and what happens when you do that. And what will happen is Printful is a totally different website, but it opens up inside of Shopify because it's connected to Shopify as an app. And you can see all of the different products that they have available in Printful and how you can add products to your store. So as you can see, these are the items that I went and I added my logo items to this different merch. I added it to a baseball shirt, a regular t-shirt, a coffee mug, and this is another motivational saying that I have, faith over fear. And that's another product that I have put logo items. And that's something that you can add to your store. So someone has a question. Rashira says she sells high-end clothing. So how would this apply to her? So basically, if you have pictures of your clothes, if you have models that model your clothes, you can take pictures of those items and you can take and you can add that to your Shopify store. You don't have to do logo items or print on demand with Printful. I'm just doing that because I don't have high-end items or anything like that that I'm sourcing and keeping and warehousing in my home. I have items that I'm just going to take, you know, like nice sayings, wall hangings for your office, different things like that is what I'm doing. So that's one of the reasons why I said with Shopify, you have to use it in a way that works directly for you. Some people are selling courses on Shopify. They don't have merchandise at all. Some people are selling not baked goods, but you know, like they're selling items for animals. They're selling dog food. And, you know, I know this woman who has packaged food. Basically, she has, you know, packaged food where you can make cupcakes and cookies and different things like that for people who are diabetic. So she's packaged her stuff and she takes pictures of them and she loads it up as a product and she sells it on her Shopify store. Okay. She said she would love for me to check out her Shopify. It's I am closet 12. Drop the link in so we could take a look at it and I'll come back to you. But anyway, these are the items that I have from Printful, and Printful is an app within Shopify that once you have a product, you can load it directly to your Shopify store. And that's one of the reasons why I like Printful, because I don't have to warehouse anything. But there are some other apps, guys, that you definitely want to include in your Shopify store that's going to help it and help you to convert sales. Now, one of those apps is Product Reviews. Product Reviews is an app from Shopify. Shopify has created this app, and basically it allows your customers to leave product reviews. And product reviews are awesome as it relates to helping you increase your sales. So it's very important to put apps on your store that will help you increase sales. So you know how we go to Amazon, and when we go to Amazon, one of the first things that we do is look at how many reviews an item has, and we click on the reviews and scroll down at the bottom, and we want to know, like, what are other people saying about this item, right? So when you have great product reviews on your store, that definitely helps for you to get increased conversions. So that's one of the main apps that I would encourage you to add to your store, and it's free. And then this app is called Smile. It's a rewards and loyalty program. Now, Smile is great. It's especially great if you're interested in having loyal customers and you want to give them points for, different purchases and things like that. Or if they refer people to you, you want to be able to incentivize them for doing that. And this Smile rewards and loyalty app will allow you to do that. And what's really good about a lot of these apps is that they come with full details, full descriptions, all of that stuff, and it step-by-step instructions as it relates for you to add the apps to your store. And I'm going to go back here and look at another app. This app is SMS Bump Marketing and Automation. Now, let me tell you a little bit about SMS Bump. It's really one of those types of apps where you can begin to, SMS is really, it's for text messaging. And it's good if you have like an abandoned cart. Like, say, for instance, somebody started a sale and didn't finish, but they entered in their phone number. You can actually send them a text message and let them know that, hey, I saw that you added something to your cart, and, but you didn't buy it. So why don't you go back and, and buy, and maybe here is a 30% off, coupon code to incentivize the person to go back and complete the sale. So SMS Bump will allow you to do that. But here's the thing about SMS Bump. It's a free app, but sending text messages is not free. So you may incur a little fee for something like this, but it's definitely good for you to really begin to grow your business from a text messaging perspective. Now, this is Ultimate Sales Boost. Now, let me tell you a little bit about Ultimate Sales Boost. I'm going to open up this app so you can see it, because this is one that's really, really important. It's a free app that you can add to your store. And when you add it, you can do things like put sales stickers on your items when they go on sale. You can create buy one, get one sales with the Ultimate Sales Boost, which is really good, right? So if a person gets one item, they could get like 50% off, or maybe get the next item for free, and you can set that up in Ultimate Sales Boost. So if you don't have a lot of inventory of an item, you can do an inventory countdown. So you know how when you go to a site and they say only 4 items left, only 3 items left, it'll allow you to do that. So people know that, hey, this item is running out, you better hurry up. If you notice when you go on Amazon, it has that, it'll say only 4 items left. And a lot of times when you see that, it creates urgency, right? So Ultimate Sales Boost is one of those apps that will allow you to utilize all of those tools that the big guys use, like Amazon, so you can look just like them, right? And so you can put a timer and tell people that, you know what, get it now because the price may go up or something like that. So you can have a timer, right? So that people know that they need to order by a certain time. You can also do free shipping with Ultimate Sales Boost, right? All of these checkout motivations, you could create a flash sale. You could put a timer on your cart. You can say there's only limited quantities. You can add more branded trust seals, which is really important on your websites. And you can create all types of different customized campaigns. So Ultimate Sales Boost is great. And it's actually a free app, but then, once you start getting a little crazy, it does become a paid app. But the one thing that you want to do is make sure that you don't get crazy with things like this. Don't put too many things on your cart. Don't put too many things on your website, because it could really start making your product pages look busy. So if you have one incentive going on, just use one thing. Don't use multiple incentives and multiple tools, because it will really start making your shopping cart look a little busy. So just be careful with that. But this is definitely one of those apps that you should have. And then there's upsell recommendations. Now, this is a really cool app, because what this app will do is it will allow you to set up your cart so that when people are looking at a particular item, you can say, okay, people who bought this also bought this. So you can have recommended items. And that's really cool. And you guys know that it works because companies like Amazon utilize it. And it's a free app. So this one is definitely a must. Okay, so as you guys can see, there are, if you go over here to the Shopify App Store, right, you're going to find a million gajillion apps that you can add to your store. If you want to add gamification, if you want to add videos, there's so much that you can do with Shopify. There's so many different apps that you can use. Have you ever seen websites where you can go and add gamification, where people can spin the wheel, and when they spin the wheel, whatever they land on, if they land on, a free item today, or get $5 off, or get 30% off, you can have people spin the wheel when they come to your website and get a free incentive for a sale that day. And there's definitely an app that does that here with Shopify. But there are apps to help you better, print your orders. There are apps that will help you better, manage your inventory. There's all different types of apps in the App Store. But be careful, because not all of them are free. And I promise you that the more apps you add, the more complicated you make your store, but also it can become very pricey. Before you know it, you may be spending upwards of $150 a month. So my advice to you is to always start with free apps and start seeing and figuring out what items in your store are selling before you really go into getting all of these complicated apps that you will end up running down a rabbit hole with, trying to figure out, how to put it all together and how to make it all work. And the one thing that you don't want to do is not buy apps, but get apps that will compete with each other. So there are multiple upsell recommendation apps, but you don't want to add all of them and then they end up competing with each other. Just pick one. All right. All right. So we talked about optimizing your store as it relates to your products. And we talked about, search engine optimization as it relates to optimizing your product descriptions and your product titles, and also that little search engine optimization box that's at the bottom of your product page. You want to make sure that that's always set up in a way so that your items are searchable. And you always want to set up your product descriptions the way people search and the way people talk. So you have to think about it. And the good thing about Google is once you start typing in Google, it really gives it all away. It gives it all away. So it'll tell you what people are searching for and how people are searching. One of the things I want to show you over here is sales channels, right? Because this is really important, because you can add different sales channels to your particular Shopify store. So if you are a part of the Amazon Fulfilled by Amazon program, you can add Amazon as a sales channel, and you can potentially send your items directly to Amazon, and Amazon, it'll be housed in the Amazon store. This is always a good idea, because one of the things I know for sure about Amazon, Walmart, and like Best Buy and all of those websites, when people go to Best Buy, when people go to Walmart.com and people go to Amazon.com, they go there to buy. They go there with buying intent. Most people don't come to the average person's website with the intent to buy. So if you have items that you can send them directly to Amazon, and you know that when people go to Amazon, they go there with 100% buying intent. If I have my wallet here, I say credit card in hand, ready to buy. Then you definitely, if you have an item that you can sell there, then do it, right? So if we click on this, I'm going to click on it so you can see what will happen, because it's going to tell you everything that you need to do in order for you to set up your shop so that it can go directly to Amazon and set it up as an Amazon channel. So all you have to do is click on here and then click update sales channel, right? But I don't want to do that right now because my shop is not live and it doesn't have all of the products that I want in it. But let's go back here to sales channel. Now, eBay, you may have an eBay account, and you may want some of your items to go directly into your eBay store. You may have a store on eBay. And guess what? eBay is another one of those websites where people go with 100% buyer's intent. And not everything on eBay is for bid. Some people have items listed on eBay at its regular price, right? Even it could, because it's a good deal. And a lot of people have eBay stores. So you may want your items to go directly to eBay. I don't think that that's a bad idea. I think it's a good idea. Now you can go and you can send your products to Google so you can create an ad. That's something that you may want to try. One of the things that I will definitely tell you to do is connect it to Pinterest, because Pinterest is another one of those social media websites where people go, and believe it or not, people buy more on Pinterest than they do even on like all of these other websites. And the good thing about Pinterest is that it's also a search engine. So people go to Pinterest looking for ideas for things, and they create these boards because they create mood boards, but sometimes they're looking for items. You will be surprised how much you can sell and how much traffic you can drive to your store from Pinterest. So if you're not currently using Pinterest as a sales channel, I would encourage you to do that. All right, so there's a whole bunch of channels that you can set up. And as you can see, I already did Facebook as a channel, Amazon as a channel. It's there waiting for me to set it up. But once you click on an item here and you set it up as a sales channel, you might want to add Messenger as a sales channel, and you can promote your items via Messenger, and it will go over here as a sales channel. And that is definitely something that you want to do. Now I want to go over here and I want to look at my website. You guys see it, right? But I want to go in here and show you some of the things that I actually did. So I'm going to click on online store, and I'm going to go over here to customize, because we talked about some of this stuff last week, and I want to show you just to highlight some of the things that I actually did to the store to get it to look like this. Right? And I'm going to also talk to you about how I added my blog and why that's important. And I'm going to show you how I set up these different collections. I created a home home and office items collection and whatnot. So I came over here to my header, and the header is where I was able to add my logo. So all I had to do was click on edit. Once I clicked on edit, well, not edit, I clicked on change. And once I clicked on change, I was able to go to my images. And if my image wasn't there, I was able to hit upload and add it, right? Okay, so that's that part. Okay. Now over here, this is the announcement bar, right? So if you, I don't know why I went out of the header, but if you click on the header again and you scroll all the way down, you can click on show announcement. This is considered to be an announcement bar. And one of the things that I did was I set up an announcement to a new class that I'm having. And you know what? If I don't want it there, I just click on the check button and it disappears, right? But if I want it to be there, I just click on this button here and it reappears. Now I'm gonna go over here and I'm gonna show you that it absolutely works. So when you click on it, it goes right to the page where you can register for this class, this master class that I'm offering. So it absolutely works, okay? And then over here, this information, Network for Women in Business, this is the information, this is the overlay that I have here for my header, where I have the information as it relates to, you know, this is the header overlay. So let's go to that part. And remember, I told you that we could go in Canva and we can create this. And so I created this image in Canva. And I just uploaded it here. And this is the text overlay. You go down here, scroll to the bottom, and you click on the heading, and this is where you can change that information. Now, last time we didn't see a button to enter the store, but what I did was I typed in the button label, but I also typed in where I wanted it to link to. And once I did that, then the button appeared. So it wasn't there before, but it's there now. And it's live, and when you go over here and you click on the button, it takes you to all products. But you can actually have this go to wherever you want it to go on your website, okay? So let's go back over here. And down here is where I entered my logo items. And basically all you have to do is go to this section here. And if you want to add another one, you can add an additional column by clicking here. And you can just go to the different items. If you want to change what it is, you click on the change button. You can change the text here. You can also change the description text. And if you want to add a buy now label, you can add the buy now label and then where you want it to go, right? You click on there, you click on products, and then it will ask you which product you want to link it to. And I have it linked to the t-shirt, right? So I can go back over here and I can link this one up. I can change the description and add a buy now button and link it up to a product. Right, and this is the t-shirt, and I can get like buy now is the label that I wanted to have, and now you see guys how that appears. So that's how you do that. But let me click save, because remember I said you always want to click save. Okay, all right, let's go back here. All right, so let's go down, and here in the home office section, what I did was I just gave it a heading, and I actually chose a collection that I wanted to have there. And I showed the number of rows that I wanted in the collection, the number of columns and the number of rows, the number of products in a row and the number of rows that I wanted. And if I wanted to edit the collection, I come over here and I could change what the collection name is, and I could add an image if I want to. Some people choose to do that. I could make it best-selling items if I want to, or whatever, right? So we come back over here for that. Go back over to customize. And then down at the bottom here, this was another image with text overlay. This was just another thing that I created over here in Canva. And basically I added the button by putting click here to register, and I added the link to a website that you would visit, right? So if you come over here to my site and you scroll down and you click on the button, it'll take you to the registration page. Okay, let's go back. And if you come down here, you can change these testimonies. You just go over to the testimonial section, and then you could change each individual testimony if you want to, and put the person's name who gave the testimony. But if you don't want the testimonials there, you can just click on this like eyeball and it'll put the X through it, and it will take that section completely away. And then remember when I added the recommended app, what it did was it placed this information at the bottom of my page, and it actually showed all of the recommended items, right? And you scroll over, and you can really set these up if you want to, right? You can set up which items you want to be here for recommended, but you would have to go into the app of recommendations and make which ones you want this to be of recommended items. Okay, so do you guys have any questions about that so far? Let me just click save. Any questions about that information so far? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pause for a minute, and I'm gonna ask if this information is good so far. So good. So I showed you the different apps that you can use, and I told you basically to focus on the free apps, right? And I basically showed you how to optimize your pages, which is really, really important. And that's something that you definitely want to do. You want to optimize your pages. And when you do that, you want to do it in your actual search engine area, the search engine optimization area. Optimization is important as it relates to your title pages, your descriptions, and that little SEO box at the bottom of your page. You definitely want to make sure that you update that, because that's how you're going to get found in the search engines. And this other thing that I want to talk to you and show you guys, which is really important, is your blogs, your blog posts, right? So Susan wants to know, how did you pick the sections and which ones go where? Like, how did you get testimonials to go where it was? That's a great question. So let's answer that. And basically, all of this stuff was here when I picked this particular theme. This particular theme was called the debut theme. And basically it came with all of these different sections. And I'm glad you asked that question, Susan, because it did have this section here, which was another section that had image with text. And this is where you could maybe spotlight a best-selling item if you wanted it there. But if you didn't want it there, all you have to do is come over here, and where there's this little eyeball, you just exit out and it disappears. But if you want to add a section, you just come down here to the bottom, right? And you can add a section. And if you want it to be a blog post, if you want it to be custom content, if you want it to be anything related like a gallery, and the gallery we know is what's down here at the bottom. If you want a gallery of images, if you want images with text, If you want images with a text overlay, which is what this is, you can do that. If you want to do featured product, if you want to do a newsletter, you can do that. If you want to do a store map, you can do that, right? So basically, like say, I don't know, if you want to add a video, you can select that, right? And just click select. And now it has a video right down here at the bottom. But if I come over here to the main area, and you see how it has like all of these different, they look like tabs. You can take and move it wherever you want it. So if I wanted the video to go right underneath the main header image, I could put it right there. So any one of these sections, you can move it around by just dragging and dropping wherever you want it to go. So I hope that answered your question. That was a great one. Rashira is saying that, oh my God, I need to redo so much. The debut theme seems versatile. Thanks. Easy peasy. Yes, yes, it is. Easy peasy. But what's really cool though is the fact that, let me click save. I'm gonna leave the video there. Because I like video, and I think that video is really good for you to have on your pages when you want people to come, a nice header, a nice video where you're saying welcome, and you're giving like a lot of personality to your website and telling people what it's all about and all of that great stuff. I like that. So I think that, you know, having video is always good. But here's the thing, right? Over here, this is the current theme that I have. I have the debut theme, but I could always change it, right? And, you know, like this is the current theme that I have, but I could change the theme to a different type of theme. If you scroll all the way down to the bottom, you can click on this button that says explore all of the free themes that Shopify has. So if you have like high-end clothes, maybe this boundless theme is something that's good for you. If you're selling outdoorsy items, maybe the venture theme is something that you want to use. If you want to just really have something simple that just shows and, you know, really highlights your products, you may want to go with this simple theme, right? So you can come down here and you can change the theme. But what's cool is there's also a theme store. So you can come over here and come over to the theme store and you can purchase a theme. So these themes vary in price. I know this Brooklyn theme is nice, but you know, you can come over here and look in all of the different categories, food and drink. You might want to get one of these themes and you can see some of them are free, but then some of them cost, like this one is $180. But each of these themes that are existing here, you still will want to modify it. But you can come over here and like I said, you can look at all of the different industries and you can choose a theme from any one of them that's listed here that could work for you, right? And, you know, maybe your business doesn't have a lot of stuff and you might want to use something like this, but the options are unlimited, okay? So let's see, I'm going to click on this link. Oh, I'm logged into mine. I don't think it's going to allow me to do it because you should, okay, I'm not going to use the one that's admin. I'm going to use the other one. I don't know if you guys can see this. Oh, yours is locked. Rashira wanted me to look at her Shopify store, but it just says coming soon. I don't know if you guys can see this. Can you guys see that? Let me go back to my store. All right. So I'm back here. Can you guys see? I want to make sure that you guys can see that I'm back at my store because sometimes when you go to different tabs, you have to stop screen sharing and start it all over again. So can you guys see? Yes, awesome. All right, so we're back here, and like I said, you can, there's so many themes that you guys can use. You definitely want to do that. But one of the things that you definitely want to do is add a blog. And I've already added a blog, and basically I created one post, and there's nothing there. The post is just about the network for women in business. But the reason why I say that you want to add a blog is because of search engine optimization. When you think about websites, you have to understand that websites are pages. And when you think about web crawlers, what web crawlers do is they crawl different pages. So let me give you an example. Say you go to Google and you type in red ties, and you're looking for red ties, and so you type in red ties, and what Google is going to do is crawlers is going to search all over the web, right? So it has an algorithm that says when a person comes in and type red ties, look and really quickly do a search over all of the pages in the internet, and the algorithm basically has criteria. All right, I want to find red ties in the metadata. I want to find red ties in the title. I want to find red ties in the URL. I want to find red ties in pages. I want to find red ties. Just send me the one that has the most, right? So if you have a blog and say you have a new product that comes out, it's really good to write a blog post about it. And the cool thing about Shopify is that Shopify will allow you to add a blog post. And here's what's great. You see at the bottom how it says, this is the search engine listing preview. So you can come here, and this is what's called metadata right here. The page title, the description, and the URL handle. You want to make sure if it's all about red ties, that red ties is in the title, red ties is in the description, and red ties is in the URL, because that's going to help it get found on the search engine. And then if you have this whole complete blog post that's all about red ties, and you have, a nice big headline that talks about red ties, then you put a link in here to the product that's within your website. I mean, you're just going to make your website even have more visibility with a blog. So when you come over here, you add a blog post. This is what it will look like kind of on your store, right? So you can basically come in here and type a whole bunch of stuff, and and it's just really good to blog, because blogging is content, it's words, it's descriptions, it's adding more details and more value, because websites are pages. And what search engines love are websites that have been around for a long time. They love websites that have a lot of different pages about the content that people are searching for. So you really want to think about all of that stuff when you're putting together your websites. You want to think about, what name could I give it that would represent, everything that's in my store, right? What name could I give my product that would make it searchable? What could I write about my product? Because you want to think about, like, every time you have a new product that comes out, think about doing a blog post, think about doing a press release, think about uploading your press releases to your websites and all of that stuff. Think about adding a page that says, because you could add pages as well. Think about adding a page that says, I'm going to add a page to my website that talks about, the network for women in business in the media, right? And then I might want to put in here a bunch of pictures and stuff, this is one from an event. And then when you add your pictures, you want to add an image text in here too. That's going to help you as it relates to getting found on the search engine. So I want to make this compact and not so big. I want to insert the image. Then I want to add an article about all of this. So say, for instance, if you were in, the Network Journal or something, or the Daily News, you would add maybe a picture of the cover of the Daily News. And then you would come in here and you would write, a headline and all of that stuff. And then don't forget about this part down here, the edit website for search engine optimization. You want to make sure you do that, press save, and then, you can add in the media as a page on your navigation bar, because you come down here and the next tab on the left hand side is the navigation bar. So basically what you can do is you can take your navigation bar, you can add a menu, or you can edit the existing menu that is there, right? And then you can learn more about navigation down here at the bottom. So the navigation bar is what you see at the top of your page. So this is, like, now you know about why having a blog is important. Let me see, somebody else said something in the chat. Okay, you guys are saying yes, you guys are loving this content. I love it. So you know exactly, why having a blog is important. You know why having pages are important. You know how to have your products go to different sales channels. You can export your products over to Amazon. You can export it over to eBay. You can shoot it over to Facebook. You can shoot it over to even Instagram and Pinterest and all of that stuff. So it's pretty amazing, all of the different things that you can do. Like I said, Facebook owns Instagram. So you can sell your products, like I said, directly on Facebook. And all you have to do is, once you set up Facebook as a channel, you click on it and it will take you directly into how to start that setup up. All you have to do is click on this button here and it will show you exactly how to connect it to your pages and set it up so that you can sell on Facebook. Then you can sell on Instagram and it will direct you exactly how you can do that. Then if you want to start really marketing and promoting your products on Facebook, you can do that as well. And there's a start setup button for that. But before you get into really marketing and promoting your items on Facebook, one of the things that I would definitely say is, don't tread lightly into that territory, because you don't want to run down a rabbit hole where you don't really know what you're doing and you end up spending a lot of money and then you end up losing a lot of money. So just be careful with that. And Facebook advertising is a whole mind and training of its own. And maybe as a part of the digital marketing series down the road, we'll do a whole section on Facebook and how to create audiences, because you can actually create a custom audience of Facebook. Say you have a whole bunch of customers from your, from the past. You could upload all of your customers' email addresses and information in Facebook, and you can create a custom audience of just your customers, just your existing customers. And if you want to create an ad and you want to make sure that just your existing customers see that ad, you can absolutely do that in Facebook. So maybe as a part of the digital marketing series down the road, what we'll do is everything Facebook marketing, because the amount of things that you can do there are just incredible. And the way that you can actually tap into your competitors' audience, untouchable. Because say, for instance, like these are sneakers. You can create an audience of people who like Nike, people who like Adidas, people who like, what's that rapper's name is? Kanye West sneakers and all of that stuff, Yeezys, whatever. So you can create a custom audience of all the people who like that. Then you can, maybe there's a person who like, I like Nike, I like Adidas, and I like Yeezys. and you can narrow the audience so you can weed out all of the people who are in multiple audiences. So maybe down the road, we'll do a training that's just on that. Yes, and you can create lookalike audiences. Thank you, Susan, for that. Because if you have an audience and that's all of your customers, right? You can create an audience that looks just like your customers. So there's a whole bunch of different types of audiences that you can create on Facebook that you can begin to market and promote to. But like I said, that's another training. So with these last minutes of this particular training, what I would like to do, I'm going to stop sharing for a minute and I'm going to start sharing again, but I'm going to go back to my presentation because I want to talk about opening your store. So I know a lot of you definitely are interested in, what you need to do to open your store. And we want to talk about the grand opening. I'm just pulling some people that are here in the background and pulling them to the forefront just in case they may want to ask some questions. All right. So, okay, so let me start my screen sharing. All right, now I'm back into my presentation. So now, like my store right now, nobody can see it because it's password protected and I haven't launched yet, right? So now when I launch, of course, you want to make a big deal out of your launch. You don't want to play small. You want to make sure that everybody knows that you have this new Shopify store. So one of the things that you can do is you can host an online event. You can host a live or a Zoom. You could call it a virtual ribbon cutting of your virtual online store and just show people around. Give people a virtual tour of your online store. Let them know, this is where you can find out what's new. This is where you can find out what's going on in the community. This is our blog. This is how you can get a discount. This is how you can refer a friend. This is how you can find the items that are on sale. This is how you can find motivational items. So definitely you're going to want to do that. Also create a press release and distribute it. There are a lot of free resources for you to distribute your press releases, but you never know, it might get picked up by your local news. If you have a local newspaper, you might want to send your press release directly to your local newspaper, and they may want to pick it up as a story that a local someone in the neighborhood has launched a new store. And that is newsworthy, guys. So you definitely want to do a press release. And let's not forget emailing our list. If we have a list of existing customers or people who follow us, definitely you want to do that. And you definitely want to promote it all across social media. So if you have blog posts, you want to create a blog post about it for sure. And you might want to run ads. You might want to advertise. Guess what? I have this brand new store open and I want people to get to my store. So why not run an ad? Run an ad on Facebook, run an ad on Instagram. That will definitely help get you some traffic to your store. And there's nothing like a grand opening sale. So that's something that you definitely want to do, have some of your best-selling items. You don't have to put everything in your store on sale, but you might want to put a couple of items in your store on sale. And that's great. And anytime you want to, you add new items to your store, you want to go through this same process all over again. Let people know how they can find the new item, where it's located in your store, promote it on social media, all of that great stuff. If you have a fan page that's about your business, you want to change your fan page banner to highlight whatever you have on sale, whatever you have that's new. The cool part that I like about your Facebook fan page banners is every time you change your fan page banner, that's one of those items that gives you algorithm love. If you ever notice that when you change your picture on your personal page or your picture on your fan page, a lot of people will like and comment and all of that stuff, because that's one of those events that gives you algorithm love. So if you have an item that's on sale, you definitely want to add it to your fan page banner, you know. And then what's really cool about fan page banners is, you know, they have a little button at the bottom of your fan page banners, and you can have a picture of the item that's on sale, an arrow pointing to the button with words telling people click below to go to the site. And you want to make sure that you have your store listed in that little button underneath your fan page. Definitely something that you want to do, and definitely something that will get a lot of foot traffic into your store. Now, the next thing you want to do is you want to operate your store, right? So I want to tell you a little bit of store operation basics, because what you want to create is something called a DMO, a daily method of operation. You want to basically, you know, figure out a routine that you're going to do that's going to help you optimize your store even more. So basically, what you're going to want to do is every day, you're going to want to check orders. Do you have orders coming in? What items are selling? What items are not? You want to check your emails, especially if you're working with different suppliers. You want to definitely make sure that you're checking your email. And one of the things that I would advise you to do is to create an email address that's specific for your store. That email address is going to be everything about your Shopify store. So use that. Try to fulfill your orders before 3 o'clock so you can get all of your tracking numbers and all of that stuff, and send out your customer communications daily. The one thing that you don't want to do is get behind on order fulfillment as it relates to your store, because order fulfillment and, you know, that daily maintenance and customer service, those are going to be the first things that you're going to outsource if your store grows to become big. You're going to want to outsource the customer service, and you might want to outsource the order fulfillment. But you also want to check your advertising and check your social media. That's really important, because if people are leaving comments, you want to take, you know, good comments. If somebody, you know, has a good experience, what you want to do is ask them to leave a recommendation on that particular product. But if people are writing negative things, and this is going to happen. The bigger you get, the more popular you get, the more people that follow you, you're going to get people that are going to be negative. And it's just a part of it. Some of it is going to be bots, and some of it is just going to be miserable people that are going to want to say negative things. And so you're going to want to monitor that, because you want to monitor your reputation at all times. And if people are putting negative comments on your posts and all of that stuff on social media, you want to delete it right away. You want to definitely check your metrics and your traffic sources. Traffic sources is so important, because at the end of the day, if people are coming to your store from a specific traffic source, you want to invest more in that traffic source so you could get more traffic from there. So a traffic source could be Pinterest. It could be from Google. Google might be giving you a lot of organic traffic. And if you find that you're getting love from Google because you've set up your site and optimized it really well, then you might want to duplicate that to some of the other products that you have in your store. So whatever you're doing that will get you organic traffic, you want to do more of that. So definitely you want to always answer your customers' questions and all of that stuff. So this is just a great start for a daily method of operations as it relates to your store. Okay. Now traffic. There's a whole lot of ways to get traffic to your store. Even you could get traffic to your store by getting on the news, being newsworthy and getting some good PR. You can hire a PR person that could get you placement in different magazines or placements on different websites. And that would be like an influencer strategy. Another influencer strategy is, getting somebody that has a lot of traffic to partner with you. And maybe, like for somebody like me, if I had a t-shirt that said faith over fear, and I got somebody like Yolanda Adams to wear that t-shirt and post it on her social media and then give me a shout out. That's huge. But a lot of big celebrities charge. But there's some people that are not, they have an engaged audience and they have a lot of traffic, but they're not a A-list celebrity. And you might be able to work something out with them to maybe do it for you for $100 or less. So you have to set your budget and figure out what's working or what will work for you, and you go down the road that's best for you, right? So, I would love to get Yolanda Adams to wear a t-shirt and give me a shout out, but it's something that you might want to do. Like, I know there are a lot of YouTubers. For example, one of my favorite couples on Married at First Sight, and yes, I love that crazy show. It's the couples from New Orleans, because many of you may not know, I am originally from New Orleans, right? So I think it's Woody and Armani, I think is her name. I think her name is Armani. But it's Woody and Armani. I love them. And one of the things that they do is they do a YouTube unwrapping. So basically, they'll put up a P.O. box and they'll tell people, send us stuff. And we'll unwrap it and we'll unwrap it on live video, and we'll shout out your business. And so that is something that you can do. And that doesn't cost you anything, well, other than shipping the product out to them so they can unbox it in front of their audience. And they have a pretty big following. So that's some of the things that you might want to do as well. You can do funny TikToks and send people to your website that way. And then all of the other social media sites are just great ways for you to drive traffic to your Shopify stores. And definitely connect your stores to Facebook, Pinterest, and Instagram, okay? Yeah, and then find those celebrities that, love to receive gifts, and they just unwrap and unbox live, and you put in a card, and what they will do is they'll pop your website up on their screen and all of that stuff. So I think that that's kind of like a low-hanging fruit, and if you can find somebody that could do that for your business, that could definitely be a big win. And so that's it. We have about 5 minutes left. And what I would like to do is definitely bring Brian back up so that he can talk a little bit more about the services that they have at York. And this is my contact information, Brian's contact information, and Harry Wells's contact information. And of course, this is the York SBDC website, and I'm going to bring Brian up so he can say a few more words about the York website. Miriam said that everything in this presentation was very enlightening, so I definitely appreciate that. But I'm going to bring Brian back up so that he can let you guys know all of the different services that are available to you at the Small Business Development Center at York College. I am definitely working with them and working with a couple of the interns to help you guys out. So Brian, why don't you take it away? And if you guys have any questions, you can type it in the chat. Or if you just really love the information and want to help me feel good about myself, you can type that in the chat too. I appreciate it. So go ahead, Brian.
Thank you, Tony.
Mhm.
So before we go ahead and end this thing, and just another gentle reminder before we go ahead and end things, please check your inbox, your email inbox for our follow-up email, um, which will include some very easy instructions to sign up as a client. We really wanted to help you so that we could assign one of our colleagues that best match what you need. For example, maybe English is not your first language and you're looking for some different language, business advisors, student interns, so we could best match this person who will help you, assist you hands-on and step by step, getting you started with e-commerce store. And finally, I hope you did get something out from this webinar. And thank you everyone for listening and tuning in. Um, and thank you very much, Tony. We really appreciate you taking the time to present this webinar. And everyone else, thank you very much.
Awesome, awesome. Yeah, so thank you guys for the great feedback. We will be here next week. Next week webinar is going to be all about Etsy. So all of you creatives out there, and even those that create digital products, you'll be able to discover how you can promote and sell those items on Etsy. Etsy is another really awesome website, and you guys are going to love it. All right. Thank you, Brian. Thank you, Harry. Thanks, everyone, for being here. Thanks for the awesome comments. You guys are loving the information that we're putting down, and we're just going to give you more and more and more. I'm going to have to say like Vera Moore. It's just going to get more better, Vera. More better. Awesome. All right, you guys, have a great night.